Before you water your ZZ plant again, pause for a moment, because one tiny habit you probably picked up from every houseplant video out there might actually be slowing your ZZ down more than you think. And the funny thing is, it's something most plant lovers proudly do, believing it's helping. But once you understand what's really going on underground, you'll realize your ZZ has been sending quiet signals this whole time, practically begging you to treat it a little differently. And trust me, when you fix this, your plant will respond so dramatically you might catch yourself staring at it every morning just to see what changed. Hey friends, welcome back to Gardens Heaven. It's always so good having you here. And if you're joining us for the first time, you're officially in a place where we make gardening simple, calm, affordable, and genuinely enjoyable. Growing plants shouldn't feel stressful or expensive, and around here, we make sure it never does. So, settle in, relax for a bit, and let's unlock some surprisingly powerful secrets your ZZ plant has been hiding from you. And before we dive deeper into these uncommon but incredibly effective tips, take a second to tap that like button if you love seeing your plants thrive. And if you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and join the family, because every week we drop plant wisdom that keeps your garden beautiful without breaking the bank. Number 1. Give your ZZ plant time to read its environment. Here's something most people never realize. Your ZZ plant doesn't react instantly to anything you do. It doesn't respond the same day, the same week, or sometimes even the same month. This plant takes its time to read the room, literally. Light, temperature, humidity, even the amount of movement in your home. Your ZZ quietly observes it all, before deciding whether to grow or stay still. And when you understand this slow rhythm, you stop panicking when nothing seems to happen. Your patience becomes part of its care. What makes this so important is that many plant owners keep adjusting too quickly, moving the pot today, watering tomorrow, rotating it the next day, never giving the plant the chance to settle. But the ZZ grows from thick underground rhizomes that store energy like a pantry. If the plant feels rushed or constantly disturbed, it simply shuts down growth to protect its reserves. Giving it stability for a few weeks at a time is the real secret to unlocking new shoots, not constant intervention. So instead of chasing fast results, treat your ZZ like a plant that prefers long conversations instead of quick messages. Place it somewhere bright but gentle, away from harsh sun, and then leave it alone. Let it read the space, adapt to the temperature, and build confidence in its environment. When it finally feels safe and settled, you'll notice it starts pushing out strong, glossy stems all on its own, and that slow, steady reward is always worth the wait. Number 2. Water with intention, not routine. One of the sneakiest ways people weaken their ZZ plant is by watering it on a fixed schedule instead of letting the plant decide when it actually needs a drink. The ZZ doesn't operate on weekly routines. It survives dry spells in the wild by storing moisture in its thick rhizomes. So when we water too frequently, thinking we're being responsible plant parents, we end up drowning those storage organs and suffocating the roots. What looks like yellowing leaves is often the plant quietly saying, "You're giving me more than I can handle." The real magic happens when you wait for the soil to fully dry out, not halfway, not almost, but completely. When the soil feels dusty and light, that's when your ZZ is ready. This intentional watering mimics the natural rhythm the plant evolved with long periods of dryness, followed by a deep, refreshing soak, and when you water, do it slowly and thoroughly, letting the soil absorb the moisture instead of flooding it all at once. This teaches the roots to grow stronger and reach deeper. If you want an easy trick, lift the pot. A dry ZZ pot feels surprisingly light, and that weight difference becomes your best guide. When you water with this mindset, listening to the plant instead of the calendar, you'll see richer green leaves, firmer stems, and a plant that stays healthy without ever surprising you with rot. Your ZZ doesn't need frequent attention, it needs smart attention. Number 3. Let your ZZ chase light without forcing it. A lot of people place their ZZ plant in a dark corner because it's known to tolerate low light, but here's the twist: tolerating something and thriving in it are not the same. Your ZZ will survive in dim spaces, yes, but it won't show you its real beauty there. If you want those tall, firm, waxy stems that look like they were polished overnight, you need to give the plant gentle light it can slowly reach toward. Not harsh sun, just a calm, bright space where it can stretch at its own pace. The trick is to avoid the mistake of constantly turning or repositioning the plant to make it grow straighter. ZZ stems naturally curve toward the strongest light source, and that bending isn't a problem. It's communication. When you keep rotating it every few days, the plant never gets a chance to settle its direction. What you want is consistency. Place it where bright indirect light remains the same throughout the day, and leave it long enough for the plant to decide the direction it prefers. Once the ZZ finds its light, you'll notice something special. New shoots emerge faster, straighter, and stronger. The leaves look glossier, the stems stand with more confidence, and the plant begins to express its full personality. This is your ZZ saying, "Thanks for the stability, I know where I'm going now." It's not about forcing symmetry. It's about giving the plant the freedom to choose its own spotlight. And if you're getting value from this so far, take a quick second to show your plant some love by showing this video some love too. Hit that like button so more plant lovers can find these hidden tips, and drop a comment telling me how long you've had your ZZ plant. Some of you have stories that inspire the whole community, and if you haven't subscribed yet, now's the perfect time. Join us here at Gardens Heaven, so you never miss the simple tricks that make your plants look like they came straight out of a magazine. Number 4. Feed your ZZ plant only. When it actually asks, here's something unusual but incredibly important. Your ZZ plant doesn't need constant fertilizing. In fact, feeding it too often is like giving someone a heavy meal right before bedtime, unnecessary and uncomfortable. The ZZ grows from those thick rhizomes that store nutrients for long periods, so if you keep adding fertilizer when the plant isn't actively growing, you risk burning the roots or creating buildup in the soil. The plant will look stressed, not strengthened. The real secret is to feed your ZZ only during its natural wake-up seasons, usually spring and early summer, when you notice new shoots poking out of the soil. That's the plant raising its hand and saying, "Okay, I'm ready for a little boost now." Use a diluted gentle houseplant fertilizer, and apply it lightly. This gives your plant just enough support to grow with energy, without overwhelming it with chemicals it can't process during its resting phases. When you feed your ZZ only when it asks, something amazing happens. Growth becomes fuller, smoother, and more controlled. The new stems arrive greener. The leaves unfurl with less distortion, and the plant maintains its signature hardy look. Instead of forcing growth, you're supporting it at the perfect moment, like handing someone a glass of water right when they say they're thirsty. That simplicity makes all the difference. Number 5. Choose a pot that lets the ZZ breathe, not just sit. One thing people rarely talk about is how much the type of pot affects a ZZ plant's entire personality. Most folks focus only on size, but material matters just as much. ZZ plants hold a lot of moisture in their rhizomes, so when you place them in a pot that traps humidity, like thick plastic with no airflow, the plant ends up sitting in dampness longer than it wants. That slow, silent moisture buildup is what weakens the roots over time. A breathable pot gives the ZZ room to stay dry enough to stay strong. What makes a big difference is choosing a pot that allows air movement. Terracotta works beautifully because it absorbs excess moisture and helps the soil dry evenly. It's almost like giving the plant its own built-in safety net. And no matter what pot you choose, always make sure it has a drainage hole. ZZ plants don't like wet feet, and they'll happily tell you by giving you yellowing leaves if the water can't escape. When your ZZ has good airflow around the roots, you'll see the change. The plant stays firmer, the soil dries at a healthy rhythm, and the rhizomes stay plump instead of mushy. It's a small switch with a huge payoff. Think of it as choosing a comfortable pair of shoes. When the fit is right, everything else becomes easier. Your ZZ grows more confidently, simply because its foundation feels right. And there you have it, 5 powerful but surprisingly simple habits that can completely transform the way your ZZ plant grows. The truth is that this plant doesn't ask for much, just patience, a little understanding, and the right kind of attention at the right moment. When you give it that, it rewards you with glossy leaves, confident stems, and a presence that quietly brightens any room you place it in. If you learned something new today, go ahead and hit that like button. It helps the channel more than you know. And I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Which of these tips are you going to try first? Or better yet, share your ZZ plant story. Some of your experiences teach even more people than you realize. And if you haven't subscribed yet, now's the perfect time. Join our Gardens Heaven family, so you never miss the calm, smart, budget-friendly tips that keep your plants thriving without stress. Thanks for spending this time with me today, and I'll see you in the next one.